All
Okay.
right, so let's officially begin the meeting here today. Thanks for joining us. We are reading Lord Mayher. We're going to start, after much discussion, we're going to start at the bottom of page 2666, which is in the year of 1948, the month of August. And I think I will start the reading today. Anybody who's not muted, please mute. As usual, whenever Baba would arrive in a village or small town, a crowd gathered to have a look at the strangers. As Erich was busy talking with a devotee, a man with a palsied arm stood next to him and put his other arm lightly around Erich's shoulder in a gesture of friendship, or so Erich thought. Erich was carrying a wad of 10 rupee notes in his upper pocket, and though he did not see the act, he heard a crisp sound, turned quickly, and saw the man holding 2 notes in his hand. Because of the crowd, Erich did not say anything, but he caught a firm hold of the man's wrist and dragged him behind the house, determined to give him a few hard slaps for picking his pocket. He raised his arm to strike him when suddenly someone caught his arm from behind. Turning around, he saw it was Baba. "What are you doing?" Baba gestured. "The rascal pinched 20 rupees from my pocket," Erich responded. Baba looked at the man. "Did you do that?" He caught hold of his earlobe, the usual punishment for children, and pinched it, warning him, "Never, never do that again." Baba turned back to Erich and motioned, "Give him back the money. It is meant for those who need it. Had he not needed it, why would he have stolen it?" Erich hesitated, but Baba repeated, "Go on, give it to him." Prasananand then sent for Baba. The Brahmin had succeeded in inducing the Swami to grant the contact while this confusion was going on outside. Baba went in and communed with him. It had been a satisfactory contact, and Baba was in a good mood. On the 16th, in Madras, Baba worked with another advanced soul known as Ramdas Swami, and after that made the return journey by train to Dand. Adi Sr. met the party in Dand on 19 August and drove them to Ahmednagar. Somebody please mute. The background noise is too high. Oh my God. The 22nd of August, 1948, was another early morning movie day at Sarosh Cinema. 2 films were shown. On the 24th, Baba sent a delegation of men and women Mandali to Ramju's daughter Jibu's wedding at her parents' home in Ahmednagar. Baba had approved the match the previous March. Footnote: for his own reasons, Baba had ordered Ramju not to invite any of his friends or relatives outside of Ahmednagar, nor to accept any wedding gifts, but to inform them that Baba was sending them his blessings. Ramju therefore sent a note to those concerned, quote, "For reasons explained in the accompanying order from my Murshad, Meher Baba, I beg to be excused for my inability to have the pleasure of your company or any present on and for the occasion. It is just like my master to send his blessings to all those whom I would have otherwise loved to be present at the function." The next day, he went to Happy Valley with Ramju and his sister-in-law Haja. On the 26th, a Qawwali program was held on Mehrabad Hill in honor of the marriage. Baba came to Mehrabad with the women at 7:30 that morning and stayed the entire day. The singing, led by Narsingh Rao Kawal, was held from 4:30 to 7 o'clock that evening, after which Baba returned to Ahmednagar. Erich and his family came from Pune, and Meherji and Alu Kambata also attended. The next day, Friday, 27th August, 1948, the housewarming ceremony for Meher Baba's new home at Pimplegown was held at 9 o'clock in the morning. Close lovers from Bombay, Pune, and Ahmednagar assembled there, including Rhoda and Jimmy Mistry, who had been honeymooning in Pune when they received Baba's telegram to come. Jimmy became completely Baba's upon seeing him. Nariman and Arnavaz were to have a close connection with the Pimplegown estate in years to come. They too had been invited and had come for a few days beforehand. Dr. Deshmukh would never miss such a chance to be with Baba, and he was present with his wife, Indumati. The men and women Mandali residing at Meherabad had been brought by buses, and the occasion was a truly joyous one. Baba unlocked the door of the new building with a silver key, and Mehra and Gulmai performed his arti. Azad means free or relaxed, and Baba named the place Meher Azad. This message, dictated by Baba, was read by Adi Sr., who then garlanded Sarosh and Mahbub, or Mahbub. In the history of Meher Azad at Pimplegown, Sarosh has played a prominent part. In the beginning, the original structure was wholly financed by him. For the present building, Baba has paid rupees 20,000. Adi Jr. supplied wood up to rupees 15,000, and the rest of the money was put in by Sarosh. In the actual building of Meher Azad, in the past and the present, Mahbub had played the chief part, and the water piping and the engineering work is the result of the untiring work of Padri. We have decided to move into Meher Azad on the 15th September and are sure that Mahbub and party will see to it. For the entire arrangement of today's opening up of the new building of Meher Azad Ashram, Kaka and Rusi Pop are mostly responsible. Kaka has, with the help of Rusi, labored all of last night without rest or sleep, looking after carefully all the details required for the occasion. Baba gives you all his blessings, which not only you, but the whole world will be needing in the near future. End of message. At one point, Kaka delivered a short speech in English, which was relayed over a microphone from the men's side. Everyone thoroughly enjoyed his unique style of erudition. After light refreshments, everyone left for his home at 1 o'clock. The next evening, Baba took the Mandali for a tea party at Kolgaon, an hour away. He was driven there by Adi Sr. with Ghani and Kak Saheb. The Meherbad Mandali came in a bus supplied by Sarosh and driven by Erich. Everyone had a good time, and they returned at 11 p.m. Picture of Baba at the Meher Azad housewarming. Although Jean and Delia were happy to be back in India, they were feeling the pain of separation at being kept at Meherabad instead of with Mehra, Mani, and the other women in Ahmednagar. After the housewarming at Meher Azad, Baba called them to Pop's house to stay, and they felt much happier. Kaka was cooking separately for the Westerners living at Pop's, and Baba was sending them to the ice factory bungalow for their meals, while he ate with the Eastern women at Pop's. Elizabeth wondered to herself, why does Baba send us out for food? Answering her unasked question one day, Baba commented, by walking, one stimulates a good appetite, and returning on foot after eating is good for the digestion. A few minutes after Jean, Delia, Elizabeth, and Narina left to eat, Baba would send Rano after them with instructions to listen to them as they ate and report back what they had been talking about over lunch. This was awkward for Rano because each day she had to fabricate some excuse for going there. She would pretend to be talking with Kaka as she tried her best to overhear the lunchtime conversation. After a few days, Jean confronted her. Rano, I do believe you are spying on us. Trying to look innocently outraged, Ronald replied, "Why, Jean, why should you think that? I am conveying Baba's messages to Kaka." But Ronald felt embarrassed nonetheless, and perhaps that is exactly the reason Baba kept sending her time and again on this spying assignment. Among the men also, Baba would choose someone to spy on them for him. Sometimes he would disclose to the others that such and such a person had told him a certain thing. Sooner or later, someone would lose his temper, and all hell would break loose when the traitor was exposed, as denials and accusations were shouted back and forth. The innocent spy could not even defend himself by revealing that he was doing so under Baba's orders, since that would have displeased Baba. So he had to glumly accept the retribution from those he had been spying on. The reason Baba would create such situations was to make the Mandali fearless by strictly following his behests, without their giving a damn what anyone thought of them. Even if the whole world would turn against them, they became so strong they did not care. Their only thought was to keep their beloved master pleased. They learned that to keep him pleased was the greatest thing they could possibly accomplish, and he who devoted his life to it could be said to have gained immeasurably. But it was next to impossible to keep the beloved happy, and only heroes who were unafraid to die to themselves could do it. Baba called Daki to the ice factory on 1 September 1948 and told him to be present every morning from 7 to 9 unless you are dying or already dead. Uh, okay, I'll pass the reading on now to someone. Uh, Eugene or Rosalie, would either of you like to pick it up?
Ladies first.
You ready, Rosalie? I can't see her.
Maybe she's in the bathroom.
All right, you take it.
Okie dokie. He was to do any legal work required for Sarosh, Adi Sr., and Ramju for a payment of rupees 300 per month. Dr. Deshmukh had compiled Baba's discourses, which were published in a 5-volume set. Delia informed Baba that Charles Purdom wanted to re-edit them into a single volume. A meeting about copyrights and Charles Purdom's editing of the discourses was held at the ice factory on 4 September. In attendance were Adi Sr., Don, Ghani, Ramju, Elizabeth, Norina, Jean, and Delia. Baba decided that they should accept Purdom's changes and the deletion of part of the material according to Deshmukh's suggestion. Deshmukh was called from Amravati to discuss the project, but he did not agree with Purdom. A heated discussion ensued. Baba decided to keep the 5 volumes of the discourses unchanged and to allow Purdom to publish his own set of new discourses. Could you read the note there, please?
Purdom did the revised work, which was published in 1955 as God to Man and Man to God. The title was given by Baba.
Oh, interesting. Kishan Singh had Baba's darshan on the 4th. as did Minu Barucha. Arnavaz and Nariman came the following day. Goma Ganesh Patak, one of the former teachers of the MEHER Ashram school, was doing social work in Ahmednagar and would come to see Baba from time to time. He was in the process of opening a nursery school, Baba Wadi, for poor children, where they would be given free milk. Baba was invited to the opening in October. At 3 p.m. on the 5th, Goma Ganesh brought some of these children to the ice factory to sing and dance for Baba, which Baba highly enjoyed. Baba visited Meherzad on 6 September with Adi Sr. and Kaka Baria, Minu Barucha, and a Muslim boy named Ismail, whom Baba was trying to draw near him, accompanied them. Padre expressed his difficulty in completing the electric work on time, but Baba was anxious that he, Giara, and Mahibub finish soon. On the 7th and 8th, Baba met with Ramju, Ghani, Adi Sr., and others to finalize a constitution for the Sufi circle, a group being formed to maintain Baba's link with Ivy Deuce and Francis Brabazon. Could you read the note, please? I think my internet is frozen or something. So if you need to have another reader, please go ahead. Well, if you still hear me, I'll keep reading. During this period, Baba had this message circulated to those living at Meherabad, as well as to other close lovers in India. 3 types of disciples. Those, 1, those who give and never ask. 2, those who give and also ask. 3, those who do not give but ask, I assume. Sorry, I've got something in front of it. Oh, I have to give up now because it's the next page. After 3 types of seekers, 1, the inspired ones, still frozen.
Eugene, are you still frozen?
Oh, I just unfroze. I heard you.
Oh, yeah,
Let's see.
I don't,
I'm hearing you great, Eugene. I didn't know that. I'm not looking at the phone all the time, so I thought it was my signal. My signal is
Yeah, maybe
notorious
it's
for about falling, disappearing, and
maybe
coming
it's
back.
Marvin's. Maybe it's Marvin that's frozen.
Mine's frozen too. And Eugene is online frozen.
mine too, mine too.
Yeah.
Mine's frozen.
Marvin?
So maybe I'll just turn to
I don't see that
Oh.
Marvin here any longer.
I found it. Can you hear me still?
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay. So 3 types of seekers. 1, the inspired ones. 2, the inspired intellectual ones. 3, the intellectual ones. So that was inspired, then inspired intellectual, and then intellectual. 3
Excuse
types
me,
of yogis.
Eugene, I don't see the print. I just see a picture.
Yeah, I turned to my own page of Lord Mayor. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not. But I guess Marvin's still sharing. Let's see. Let's see if I can bump the sharing to me. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Okay. And now go to. Okay. Do you see the text now?
Yes, yes, I
Oh, great. Have you read already? I forget, Eva. Eva, do you want to start reading?
Yep, it took me a while to turn my microphone on. Sure. Can you make the print a little larger?
Yeah.
Hang on. I'll just turn my phone sideways.
Okay.
You
Okay.
you can expand it as well. Are you on your phone, Eva?
No, no, Eugene is sharing.
I got you.
Okay, okay, got it. Perfect. Okay, can you go up a little bit? All I see is the second one. Okay. Final muster. Prelude to Thunder. 2, the inspired intellectual ones. 3, the intellectual ones. 3 types of yogis. 1, those who long for the goal and shun powers. 2, those who long for the goal and also for powers. 3, those who do all yogic exercises merely for powers. 3 types,
Sounds like people I know.
3 types of resigners. Those who are so completely resigned to the will of the master that even the one question of how, why, or when never even enters into their minds. Hafiz says, Do not breathe a word smacking of why and wherefore, because the blessed disciple accepts heartily every word that the Sultan master utters, meaning he is a chosen disciple who obeys the master in everything and anything with all his heart. 2, those who do what the master asks at all costs, sacrificing everything, not asking for reward, but do it under compulsion of surrenderance to the master's will. 3, those who do what the master asks at all costs, but expect reward. Baba came to Krishna quarters and had a private talk with Gulmai, telling her not to worry about her daughters, but to come and stay with him. Gulmai was greatly relieved. On 12 September, Baba held a 4-hour meeting with Adi's nephews, Melu, Falu, and Bayram, over the division of their property. Over the years, Baba had been apprised of each and every transaction and interaction with these young men and their family's property in Nasik and elsewhere. Baba came to live at Meherzad on Thursday, 16th September, 1948, with Mehera, Mani, Meru, Gohir, Walu, Norina, Elizabeth, Delia, and Jean. And footnote. All the luggage. I don't see it anymore. Oh, all the luggage was shifted the day before by truck. Baba's bedroom was upstairs. The men who began staying at Meherzad were Don, Ghani, and Kaka. The rest of the men and women Mandali stayed in Meherabad. But Baba would frequently call Rano, Kitty, and Naja to Meherzad. Kakabaria went to Ahmednagar for the marketing, and Adi Sr. was instructed to come once a day at 2 p.m. with the post and telegrams. On the 18th, Minu Karas, Minu Pohawala, Bayram Dadachanji, Nariman, and Meher Ji came to Meherabad, and Baba went to see them at noon that day. The meeting was in relation to Nariman opening a business office in Karachi with Karas and Pohawala's help. Baba returned the next day also and met Erich Niroji Dadachanji at Sarosh Motor Works. Ali Shah was brought to Meherzad on 20 September, and Baba began working with him. The Mandali could not help but notice that this coincided with the fall of Hyderabad to the Indian Union forces following the Nizam's surrender. Baba remarked, the fate of Nizam would have been better had he adopted either of 3 courses of action: join Pakistan, fight to the bitter end with India, or compromise with India at the outset. Baidu was sent to Gujarat to look for new musts with whom Baba could work in November. He returned and reported to Baba on 1 October. Faram had been typing Narina's articles at Kushra quarters. While at Meherzad, Mani was busy typing some of Don's material. Dahak was called to stay at Meherzad for 2 days on 2 October to type Ghani's manuscript, God Speaks. Baba's uncle, Rustum Mama, died during this period. Just before he passed away, he told his wife, Piroja, I always believed that Merwan was God, but now I am even more convinced. Piroja Mami came to Meherzad for Baba's darshan. After seeing her briefly, Baba retired to his room. Approaching her niece, Mami inquired where Baba had gone. He has gone to his room, Mani replied. He won't come now. Mami looked disappointed, and Mani asked, do you want to tell Baba something? Yes, I have come for that reason, Mami replied. Tell me, and I will convey it to Baba. Mami said, I want that which Baba gives to all. Mani replied, Baba gives his love to all, which he has already given you. Not love, I want murti, an idol. Mani began chuckling because she knew what Mani meant was mukti, liberation from birth and death. She understood and assured her, don't you worry, Mommy. I will tell Baba to give you murti. Mommy left happily, and when Mani related the conversation to Baba the next day, he was much amused. And footnotes. Piroja Mami continued to live in Bombay for many years and had Baba's darshan there in the 1950s. In the evenings, Baba would listen to jokes from Norina, Elizabeth, Delia, and Jean. They had a joke book from which they would recite select pieces to Baba. Mani would also read detective stories to him in the afternoons or evenings. Baba liked mysteries, in particular the Nero Wolfe series by Rex Stout. Jean's mind was troubled because Baba was not explaining anything spiritual to them, as he had done in Nasik. But one day, Baba conveyed to her, every word of mine has spiritual significance, which provides enough food for thought. Elizabeth had brought 2 cars from America the previous year, and these were kept at Meherzad in a garage. Footnote. The garage at Meherzad was later renovated and became known as Mandali Hall. Baba gave Rano and Meru the duty of washing the cars daily.
Thanks so much, Eva.
You're welcome.
Can you see if Rosalie is available? If not, another reader.
I'm available, but the
Awesome.
screen is very tricky today, I have to say. I don't know.
Oh.
I've never encountered it. It goes big and little, and okay, we'll give it a try here.
What a trooper.
Oh, yeah, I just think the best of myself. Even though the cars were lying unused, they had to wash them diligently. Baba would walk up Seclusion Hill in the early evening with the women. On one occasion, Baba put on Mera's sandals. Mani put on Baba's, and Mera wore Mani's. Once he took them on a walk to Happy Valley, and at the time, 2 rainbows appeared in the sky. This is a good augury for Delia and Jane, he commented. One afternoon at 3 o'clock, Baba and the women climbed another nearby hill, Gorakhnath Hill, which is visible from Meherzad. Baba ascended the hill with speed and unfaltering agility, and on the summit sat in the temple of Gorakhnath alone for 20 minutes. When he came out, he told the women to enter the temple and pay their respects. But the temple priests prevented them from entering, and Baba intervened, saying, Do as he says and do not enter. With his usual graceful steps, Baba came down the hill, the women trailing after him. Walking more slowly, Elizabeth and Walu were left far behind, and Baba and the others waited for them at the base. Baba jested, when the two stragglers appear, welcome them by clapping. When they came down, all clapped, including Baba. You are being applauded for your safe arrival, Baba told them. In MEHER, meetings were held about the legal formation of a partnership called MEHER Publications, and Elizabeth was also busy planning the establishment of the Universal Spiritual League of America to help protect the copyrights of Baba's writings. Delia said, in England too, such a league should be formed. Baba gave permission, and Charles Purdom was made the president. Delia, vice president, and Will Beckett, secretary. Jean Adriel was instructed to set up a similar organization in California, but not to go back to, I'm a little cut off on this side, but not to go back or have anything further to do with MEHER. On Friday, 8 October 1948, Baba sent Delia and Jean back to the West. Jean went to California and Delia to London to set up the league, and then on to Panama, where she had relatives. Baba had instructed her to look for a suitable villa in Panama for himself and the women and to await their arrival. I'm a little cut off on that side. Yeah. Now I'm cut off on the other side. Good. As he wished to visit the Republic of Panama on his next visit to the United States. But inevitably, his plans changed and the trip was canceled. As Delia and Jean were departing, Baba assured them, do not shed even a single tear, for you will be seeing me again, whatever happens. During her visit, Jean felt that her attitude toward Baba had changed, and she now felt inwardly free and detached, with no emotional tentacles pulling at her heartstrings. She told Baba that she did not fit any longer into his group, but Baba vigorously denied this and said that she was a perfect fit. Jean shook her head and said, I do not belong here. On the boat back to the West, Jean reviewed her life and concluded that her most profound inner experiences had all come prior to her contact with Baba. It was to sustain this higher level of consciousness that she had looked to him for aid, she told herself. When she shared her feelings with Delia, stating, this chapter in my life is finished, Delia asked her, but what are you going to do now? Jean foolishly replied, I don't know, except that I shall no longer look to any human being, regardless of his apparent spiritual stature, for that which I can find only within my own heart and soul. I've already wasted too many years seeking it outside. Footnote. Based on Jean Adriel's fictionalized account of her life, Soaring Sunward. On 14 October, a deed of partnership between 20 of the Mandali was executed for MEHER Publications for the purpose of publishing Baba books. In attendance at Meherazad were Adi Sr., Dake, Pendu, Padri, Baidu, Jal Rusi, Sarosh, Jalbai, Meherji, Nariman, and Kaikobad's son Ratan, who showed up unannounced. Baba also met Rustam Dinyar of Deolali that day. On one occasion, Baba visited Akbar Press in Ahmednagar with Erich, who had been in Pune for a few weeks. When he saw Shireen Damania, who was bedridden with arthritis, Baba asked her what she wanted. Erich urged his aunt, "Tell Baba to make your body all right so you can move about as before." Baba assured her, "There is only one remedy for that. You will be all right if I am bedridden with stiff legs." Concerned, Shireen blurted out, "Baba, do not do that. I will lie here as I am until my last breath, but you should stay well." Baba was deeply pleased with her spontaneous expression of heartfelt love and reassured her, "Carry on as you are in this birth. After this life, you will be free from the rounds of birth and death." Baba met everyone at Akbar Press, including his three darlings, Homi, Mama Satta's children, Alu, Dan, and Naval. Their mother, Pila, had died 5 years earlier, and since that time, they had come to stay at Akbar Press. Alu, Dan, and Naval all had muscular dystrophy, and though they were very clever and good looking, they suffered much. They also loved Baba dearly, and he would often come to see them. Once their cousin, Dorab Satta, Jamie Mama's son, asked Baba why he did not cure Naval. Baba replied, "I can cure him, but when I am in physical form, I want him to suffer so that I can console him." Baba turned to Naval and remarked, "Why do you shout, complain? Every leaf and particle must shout." Naval said, "But I am so tired, Baba." "I am also tired," Baba replied, "but I continue. Your disease will continue until it has had its effect, until it has unwound your impressions. Why ask for good health?" Baba did not relieve them from their disability, but he did help them keep happy, teaching them to bear their sorrow and pain cheerfully. Their younger sister, Roshan, who was unaffected by the disease, was also much loved by Baba. Once when the family visited Meherabad, Baba picked up Roshan and carried her all the way to Upper Meherabad on his shoulders. During one period, Dan had an order from Baba to write him daily, and Baba replied to her regularly, thus maintaining a close link with her and the whole Satta family. Dan would send Baba humorous notes, which made him laugh. Homi Mama had lost his life savings at the time of partition, when the owners of a Muslim-owned insurance company had fled to Pakistan. Baba called him to Meherazad at the time and remarked to the Mandali, Today, Homie has won and I have lost. Homie could not understand what Baba meant, so Baba explained. I took away your young wife and you did not complain to me. I gave you 3 crippled children and you did not complain to me. Now I have taken away all your money and you have 4 children still to care for. You have nothing, so what will you do? Homie said, Baba, in my heart, I have always felt that all these things belong to you. I know you will never let me down and that you will provide us with whatever is necessary. Baba was pleased with his reply and told Sarosh, who had brought Homie Mama, to employ him in his business, which he did. MEHER had gone to Bombay to appear for her medical board exam, and she returned on 24 October. The next day at 9 a.m., Baba attended the opening in Ahmednagar of Goma Ganesh's Baba Wadi Nursery School, accompanied by Don, Kaka, MEHER, Rano, Elizabeth, and Norina. All the Mehrabad Mandali came, as did the Ahmednagar followers. Deshmukh had come, and he read out a Marathi message. Kaka Chimchorkar also spoke. This message from Baba was read out by Sarosh. Selfless work, as you all know, has many aspects in the social and political fields. Each aspect thereof, though tinged with a particular cultural background, has its own merit and consequential reward. But the work relating to the welfare of babies is in a class by itself. Babies and infants everywhere in the world are the very epitome of God's purity and innocence. They are guileless and helpless, and yet they desire and expect nothing. Why do men see and recognize the enemy and the criminal outside? Because the so-called enemy and the criminal are already within them. Babies have no criminal or enemy within, and therefore see none outside. I am also called Baba, which endearingly means a baby. In fact, all God-realized souls are unsophisticated, like babies. I therefore see and enjoy my purity and colorlessness in the unself-conscious ones, the babies. This is what is real selfless service, when you are serving the little selfless ones. And this is tantamount to rendering service directly unto God. The biblical statement, and whoso shall receive one such little child in my name, receiveth me, bears out what I have said. I bless you all. Kanchan Pandey, the daughter of the Ahmednagar photographer Baya Pandey, became gravely ill, and the doctor had no hope for her survival. She was so weak, she could not even raise her hand. Her temperature had risen to 105, and her family was terribly worried. Adi Sr. brought Pandey to Meherazad at 3 p.m. on 29th October 1948, and Baba asked him, "Why have you come?" He replied, "What is the use of our having faith in you when my daughter is about to die and you have no thought for us?" Smiling, Baba asked, "What is the matter?" Pandey told him that Kanchan and about Kanchan and explained that she had not eaten anything for several days. Baba had, it's a little cut off on that side. Baba had Don bring 2 potatoes and giving them to Pandey spelled out, "After boiling these well, give them to Kanchan to eat."
Thanks, Rosalie. Awesome. Can you see, is there anybody else who wants to read?
I can read.
Oh, good. Thank you, Mahu. Go ahead. Thanks, Rosie.
Thanks. I just need toward the left. It's the margin is low, so I can see a little bit to the right now. A little bit to the right. Just move it. No. I mean reverse. A little bit to the
Other way.
Okay, well, maybe I can try. Very good. Thank you, Jay Baba. Page 2677 and the year 1948. The doctors have forbidden her to take anything other than liquids, Pandey informed Baba. Kanchan is dying anyway, so why let her die of hunger? Baba replied, let her eat and die. Accordingly, on his return, Pandey made Kanchan eat the boiled potatoes. The girl had been reduced to a skeleton. She could not talk, and it took her 4 hours to eat them. When the doctor came and was informed she had eaten potatoes, he stormed out without examining her. He was sure she would not live for more than a few hours. But when he came the next morning, Pandey found that Kanchan's temperature had come down to 101 degrees. He thought, if the fever goes away completely, she will live. In 2 hours, the temperature went down to 95 degrees, and all were anxious about this. Pandey was sincerely praying to Baba, and in half an hour, her temperature rose to normal. Amazed, the doctor said, I do not understand how this happened. I have never seen a case like this before. Pandey said, this is the effect of the potatoes given by Meher Baba. Pandey went to Pimplegan again, and Baba asked, has Kanchan died? By your grace, she is alive and well, he said. Baba gave him prasad and motioned to him to leave for home immediately, which he did, more convinced than ever that Meher Baba was the Lord of Lords. On Saturday, 30th October, Adi Sr., Ramju, Dahek, Hindu, and Manekar came to see Baba at Meherazad at 1:30 p.m. Dahek returned a typewriter lent to him to type Baba's articles, including one titled Death and Immortality. Baba instructed Ani to keep the typed sheets carefully with him, but joked, don't look at them. Reading them will be death for you. Deshmukh and Balnatu were also present that day. At one point, Baba asked them to solve a riddle. Even though I am all-knowing and I am in everything, there is one thing that I do not know. What is it? Deshmukh said, when you, the omnipotent, omniscient one, do not know it, how can we human beings possibly know what it is? Baba gave this answer. I do not know where I am not. That was the riddle. In response, Ghani quoted the poet Iqbal. I am not afraid of hell because I am told, O God, that you are also there. Just then, Baba stopped him and asked everyone to go out. The Hague interjected, get out and go to hell? I am waiting for you there, Baba quipped, and everyone laughed. Baba left Merazad at 6 o'clock on the morning of Monday, 1st November, for his second mosque tour in Gujarat in 1948. Baba was accompanied by Vishnu Erech and Jal Kerawala, who had arrived the day before. Adi Senior drove them to Bombay, stopped on the way at Bindra House, where Baba gave darshan to Gadekars and Vithal Bahukars families, among others. At Baba's direction, Baidu, Chagan, and Gustaji went by train to Bombay. Jal took a train to Nagpur, and Baba and the Mandali boarded the Kathiawar mail train at 6:30 p.m. On the 3rd, Baba contacted two mosques, Mungasai and Jinasai, in Junagadh. In the middle of the night, Baba entered a dargah, Muslim's shrine, in Junagadh, where he found a room to sit in seclusion. There was a veranda outside the room with a single bench on it. During travels, the men would take turns being on watch near Baba. While Baba was resting in the room, Gustaji was seated on the bench keeping watch. When Baba began snoring loudly, Gustaji thought it would be a good chance to urinate, so he began looking around for a suitable spot. He had already undone his trousers and was just about to urinate when he heard Baba's clap. Hurriedly, he fixed his pants because Baba continued clapping loudly. When Gustaji went to him, displeased Baba gestured, I have been clapping and clapping. Why don't you come at once? Gustaji kept still, and Baba motioned to him. Go back and sit on the bench and do not make the slightest movement. Controlling his urge to urinate, Gustaji went and sat on the bench. After a little while, Baba clapped again and motioned to him that he could relieve himself now. Dawn was breaking outside, and when Gustaji went to that side of the building where he had previously gone, he saw to his astonishment there was a large lake there. Had Baba not clapped at the moment when he did, Gustaji would surely have fallen into it and probably drowned, since he was silent and would not have been able to call for help. Although Baba was snoring loudly, his sleep was conscious, and thus he saved Gustaji from this accident. On Thursday morning, 4th November 1948, Baba climbed the thousands of rock-carved steps leading up Datar Hill. The hill is so named as it is associated with Bapu Jamal Shah, also called Datar, who was a God-realized being of past centuries. Datar, as the legend is told, had taken Jivan Samadhi. He had himself buried alive in a cave on this mountain. Page 2679. A little bit. The old mast Munga Sai was taken up the hill in a litter, and Baba, who remained fasting only on water, worked with him in seclusion for 2 days. Munga Sai was majzub-like, unconscious of his body, and Baba would feed the mast himself. On top of this hill, a small group of aspirants were living and leading simple, ascetic lives devoted to God. They were like monks. Baba praised them, commenting, "I have visited temples, shrines, ashrams, and convents all over India, and in many foreign countries as well. But I have never seen aspirants living a life of such exemplary simplicity, consistent solely of a spiritual aspiration, selfless work, and the mortification of material desires." The austere diet of these hardy ascetics was only porridge of coarsely ground wheat boiled in water. The next day, the 5th, Baba washed and laid his head on the feet of 18 of these aspirants, giving each 7 rupees as his prasad. Baba descended the mountain on 6th November after 2 days of seclusion and fasting. He entered the Dargah in Jungada, where the mast Mungasai had been brought back in a litter. Also that day, Baba contacted another good mast, Ghulam Nabi Nanga. On Sunday, 7 November, Baba went to the top of one of the mountains in Girnar. There, Baba sat for 2 hours in seclusion in a cave named after King Bhartari, King Bhartari, a saintly king of olden times. The ancient hills of Girnar contain some of India's oldest caves, dating back to the time of King Ashok. Coming out of the cave, Baba revealed to the Mandali, every avatar born in India has at least once visited Girnar during his lifetime. And there's a footnote. The footnote says, MEHER too had once visited this hill in Girnar when she was a child. Finishing his work in Jangada, Baba proceeded to Delhi, arriving by train on Wednesday, 10 November 1948. At 7:50 a.m., Keki Desai had been informed in advance of Baba's visit and had made all the preparations for it. Baba stayed at his home in the Hassan building at 4 Nicholson Road. Because of the tremendous strain involved in Baba's seclusion work and to relax, Baba wished to watch the first cricket test match between the West Indies and India to be played in Delhi from 10th to the 14th.
Thanks so much, Mahu. Is there anybody there who wants to read? Otherwise, we could just stop here.
I could read it unless you want to stop. It's up to you.
Oh, no, we'd be delighted to go on because we missed last week, so we can do a double session today. Go ahead, Marilyn.
Okay. Let's see. Keki had been, I need my other glasses. Wait a minute. Okay. Keki had been instructed to reserve seats for Baba and his mandali, and each day Baba and the men went to see the match. Baba's stay in Delhi was also kept a strict secret as he did not wish to be disturbed. Despite the fact that Baba's prime reason for coming to Delhi was to rest, for 3 days he communed with 12 Mastanis and sadhus revered by the local populace. Early in the morning of 12 November, Baba had a humorous encounter with a must named Amanullah Kabuli. He was a high, half Jamali, half Jalali must. Baba handed him 10 rupees after their private contact, and then this amusing conversation in Urdu took place between them. Baba spoke through Baidul. "Where are you going now?" the must asked. "Ajmer," Baba replied. "I will come with you," the must said. "I will pay you 10 rupees more for train fare," Baba said. "You should buy your own ticket to Ajmer and go there by yourself." Baba handed him an additional 10 rupee note and then said, "Now permit us to proceed to Ajmer." Amanullah, pointing to Baba, said, "You and the others may go, but he," pointing to Baidul, "must return in the evening." "For God's sake, allow us all to go," pleaded Baba. Again, pointing to Baba, Amanullah answered, "God is standing just in front of me, so how can I let him go?" Baidul chatted with him about various mundane things and tried to exact his permission to leave. Amanullah finally gave his consent, but turning to Baba, uttered, "Inwardly, I will constantly be sending you my love telegrams. You may be in either the East or the West, but my love cables will be so powerful, they will drag you back to me." "When you call me, I will come," Baba assured him. Amanullah replied, uttering this couplet in Persian, "Wherever I cast my eyes, I see only you." The Musk continued speaking Persian for some time. In the end, with much love and with tears in his eyes, he grasped Baba's hand and after a few moments allowed Baba to leave. On Saturday,
I'm sorry, just one thing because he was Persian. The name is Amanullah.
Amanullah.
Amanullah. Yes.
I'm sorry. Okay.
That's okay. That's perfect. You did so good.
Thank you. I don't even remember what I said. Amanullah. On Saturday, 13 November 1948, Baba departed Delhi for Ajmer and began his Musk contacts there the next day. 5 miles from Nasirabad, Baba worked with Shaukat Ali Malana Mastan in Bitiani village. 2 days later, on the 15th, he contacted Chacha, the God-conscious Majzub. From Ajmer, Baba with the 6th mandali arrived in Baroda on the 16th. There he again communed with Chambu Shah. This time the must did not call Baba back and forth, but wanted 2 new longis and also a shirt. These were procured and handed to him by Baba. Chambu Shah put them on after stripping off his old dirty clothes and giving them back to Baba to wear. Later that day, Baba did wear the musk's clothes and then put them carefully in his suitcase. Footnote. When Baba returned to Mirzad, he put these things from the musk carefully in the trunk that contained Chambu Shah's other clothes given to him previously. During one phase, Baba kept this tin box of Chambu Shah's clothes with him in his room wherever he stayed. After this contact, Baba and the Mandali traveled to Cambay, where Baba contacted a high must named Reeman Shah and another called Bapu Sharawala. Leaving Cambay, Baba proceeded to Viramgam, where he worked with Ahmed Mastan on the 17th. They found the naked must playing in a pond of water. From Viramgam, Baba left for Morvi in Saurashtra, where on 18 November he sat with a very great must known as Mahjub Ali Shah. Baba went to him at 11 o'clock at night. Upon seeing him, the saintly must exclaimed, "He is a real fakir. He is a real fakir." Fakir has a literal meaning of one who has taken a vow of poverty and also of one who has renounced the world, a man leading a holy life solely dedicated to God. But in Sufi literature, the word fakir also means one who is spiritually perfect, known as a kutub. Then people approached Mahjub Ali Shah, or when the first letter is cut off. They saw at first a short, fat man, there you go, with long white hair and a white beard. He was seated by the train station of Morvi, surrounded by scrapped rail wagons, and at times would open a water tap and let it pour water out onto the ground or over his feet. However, anyone who came close to this must would soon be captured by his shining countenance and, forgetting his rough appearance, would only be aware that they were in the presence of some tremendous personality. As one of the Mandali described him, the must's bearing was so impressive, there was no other word to describe him other than kingly. Mahjub Ali Shah was a king, but not of this world. This Jamali must of regal bearing shared some of his mash of bread and water with Baba and Baidul, and then became restless and started pacing back and forth. He did this for 2 hours and at last sat down. He ordered Baba's men to move away from where he was sitting and instructed Baba to bring fresh dates worth 1 paisa penny and give half to him. 3 or 4 were brought, and Baba gave half to Mahjub Ali Shah. He then sat alone with him for contact and the inner work. It was later that Mahjub Ali Shah had been exiled from his homeland in Bhuj, the capital of Kutch, in parentheses it says Rajasthan, Rajasthan. The reason for his exile was that he attracted such crowds around him in Kutch that the authorities feared that he would become a menace to civil order. After he was forcibly deported from his home, he wandered in India and eventually settled in Morvi, where again his tremendous kingly personality attracted people from all over Saurashtra state. From Morvi, Baba traveled to Rajkot, where 150 poor people were brought to a dak bungalow on the 19th. After washing their feet and bowing his head, Baba gave half of them 10 rupees each and the others 1 rupee each before sending them away. After working with 2 months in Rajkot, Baba left and arrived in Ahmedabad on the 20th. On Sunday, 21 November 1948, Baba contacted 140 sadhus in the hall of Jagannath Maharaj's ashram. Footnote. Jagannath Maharaj was the 5th plain must whom Baba worked with the previous June. Okay. A chair was brought to the main hall and Baba asked Jagannath to be seated on it, and he wished to have Jagannath near him during the contacts. Jagannath obliged, but with reluctance because he knew Baba was someone very great, and Baba sat on the stone floor beside him. The door was then closed and the mandali were posted outside, for Baba did not wish to see what was about to occur. Each sadhu was sent in one by one, and Baba lay his head on their feet and handed each 5 rupees. When this work finished, Baba worked with 5 more months in Ahmedabad and then traveled on by train to Bombay, arriving at Bombay Central on the morning of the 23rd. Adi Sr. met them and drove them to Pune, where Baba broke his journey at Bindra House. Upon arriving, he directed Erich to take a bath. Erich insisted, "You should bathe first, have your lunch, then I'll have mine." So Baba had his bath and food and ordered Erich again to go and bathe. Erich replied, "After I've given you the Eulitz mixture, in parentheses, for digestion, I'll go." "Don't worry about that. Just have your bath. I'll take the mixture myself," Baba insisted. Gai Mai intervened and disapprovingly corrected her son. "Why don't you do as Baba says?" Excuse me one moment.
So I'll keep reading till Marilyn comes back. Gaimai intervened and disapprovingly corrected her son.
I'm back.
Oh, perfect.
Thank you.
You're
Gai
welcome.
Mai intervened and disapprovingly corrected her son. "Why don't you do as Baba says? Go have your bath." Erich left reluctantly, and Baba went to take his medicine. Manu, Erich's sister, said she had a bottle with her and she would bring it. "Do not bring it. It's here," Baba replied. He opened his traveling bag, but when he took out the bottle, it slipped from his hand and broke into pieces. Sitting down, Baba began picking up the glass and Gai Mai came running and insisted that she would clean it up. Next page. Returning from the bathroom, Erich remarked sardonically, "I knew something would happen. That is why I did not want to go for my bath." "Go away," Gai Mai scolded. "What does it matter if 1,000 bottles are broken?" Baba kept quiet and looked guilty as if he'd been caught committing some transgression. The fact was, Baba did not wish Erich to go for his bath, and Erich knew it. The broken bottle was his ploy to teach Erich to follow the dictates of his heart. But the episode did not end here. A few drops of the medicine had splashed on Baba's coat. "There are spots on my coat," Baba complained. "What will Mera say?" "Don't worry. We have another coat," Manu said. "I do not want another one," Baba insisted. Turning to Erich, Baba was plaintive. "What should we do now?" "What will Mara say when she sees these stains? How pained she will feel when she finds I've been wearing a coat that has been soiled. You know how very particular she is about my clothing." Erich said, "It's all because I went for my bath. I do not know how I let you convince me." Baba laughed and Manu hurried in carrying a similar coat. Baba put it on so the stained one could be cleaned. He then went to Baba house. Baba met his brothers Jalbai, Bedam, and his family. Bedam's 3-year-old twins, Rustum and Sorab, were identical, and Baba asked Pedin, which is Sorab and which is Rustum. Perrin could tell them apart, but Jalbai and Bedam could not. Baba asked her for a hint to distinguish them. While having a domestic discussion, Bedam told a lie which displeased Baba. "You're lying even to me. It is not good to lie. Never speak falsely again to me or to anyone else." Bedam acknowledged his mistake and sought Baba's forgiveness, but the next moment he thought, "Even Baba lies at times." Without asking what he was thinking, Baba smiled and spelled out to his younger brother, "I am God and can do as I please. But you should do as I tell you. All this is my creation, and for its good, I may do anything and everything. From that point of view, even my telling a lie is speaking the truth, because truth can never lie." Baba, along with Baidul, Vishnu, Chagan, and Gustaji, returned to Merazad on Wednesday, 24th November 1948, where Baba stayed for the next month, dictating points to Ghani for God Speaks. Baba had been after Ghani to finish the book for months.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you, Marilyn. Do you see anybody there who wants to read, or shall we
I
close here?
if you want the meeting
Oh,
go.
thanks, Meher. Yes, yes, go ahead.
Ghani was so indolent that he would at times go to sleep with his clothes on and even shoes on to save himself the trouble of putting them back on in the morning. To awaken him, Baba would come personally to his room and knock on his door. In 1927, a few years after beginning his silence, Baba had stopped writing. However, he had continued to read his mail and occasionally the newspapers himself. But after his return from the Mast trip, at the end of November 1948, Baba stopped reading anything. From then on, if he wished to go over any letter, telegram, or note, it would be read out to him. Several visitors came to Meherazad in December 1948 to see Baba. Among them were Daulat Singh again, with his son Upkar, Carmen Masi's son Homi, Jal Rusi, and Kishan Singh. Papa Jasawala came on 4th December with fruit trees to be planted at Meherazad. Baba told him, "You will be doing a great service to me if you can manage to sell off the Bair Mangla lands." Papa had been asked to do this before, but the matter was still unresolved. A power of attorney from Baba was executed and given to Papa for this purpose. The footnote says, Papa was successful in selling the property in February 1949 for rupees 23,673 and 14 paise. Out of the total parcel of land, Venkoba Rao managed to raise enough to purchase a small portion, which included the foundation laying site and the few single room structures. In Pimpulgaon, a village woman died after giving birth to a baby boy named after the saint Gorakhnath. Baba had the child brought to Meherazad and instructed Goher to look after the baby. After 10 to 12 days, Baba sent the baby to Meherabad with instructions to Khorshid to raise him. Dr. Neelu became the infant's private pediatrician, and Gorakhnath was brought up like a prince. Tinned milk for him was specially ordered from Meherji in Bombay, and also costly clothes and other items. Baba would see Gorakhnath on his occasional visits to Meherabad, and Neelu and Khorshid faced his stern rebuke if the child developed the slightest cold or illness. During this period, Baba asked Goher to keep and breed ducks in a small pond in Meherabad. Goher was an allopathic physician, and although she knew how to care for a baby, she was at a loss when it came to serving as a foster mother to ducks. Still, by consulting a reference book, she became astute on the subject and carried out her duty using the latest methods in animal husbandry. Once, when the bazaar man was about to leave for his daily purchases, Goher discovered she needed more feed for her wards. Without asking Baba, nothing could be ordered or accepted from outside or sent from Meherazad, and so Goher, like the others, had to ask his permission about each and every item. Baba was engaged in imparting some spiritual points to Dawn and Gani for God Speaks, when Goher frantically went to him and blurted out, "Baba, the feed for the ducks is finished." "Do you have any sense?" Baba asked. "Here I am explaining sublime spiritual subjects, and you barge in and ask about feed. How did you ever become a doctor? Your brain is filled with sawdust. From the seventh plane, you have brought us down to ducks." Thereafter, Baba repeated the scene word for word for the amusement of the other women, who all had a good laugh. On 7 December 1948, Vishnu Chavan came to Meherazad with a merchant from Pune named Bal Nerlekar. Baba greeted them lovingly, and Nerlekar told Baba, "I want only one thing, God realization." Quite pleased, Baba replied, "Very few like you come here. I will surely make you realize God. But would you follow my instructions?" Confident, Nirlakar replied, "Assuredly, Baba." Baba spelled out, "Just go out for a while, think about it, and then come back and tell me if you're 100% prepared to carry out my orders." Nirlakar went out, and after thinking it over, what Baba meant, came back. He was a Brahmin and clung to quite definite views regarding spirituality, but nevertheless said, "I am ready to fulfill your wishes." "All right," said Baba. "First, start eating mutton every day. Secondly, drink plenty of wine. And third, sleep with a prostitute. This is my first order." Stunned, Nelekar asked, "What are you saying, Baba? I have seriously come to you for realization. Please don't joke with me." "I am not joking," Baba declared. "I am seriously giving you this order. Obey it and see what happens. I promise you will realize God." Nerlekar was speechless. Baba's order was against all his dearly held orthodox beliefs. He had no idea of the advantage to be gained by following the avatar's orders. What value do the limited concepts of morality have against his orders? One's individual thoughts and notions have no place before the avatar's behest. Before them, thoughts of good and bad are meaningless. The master's wish is always supreme, no matter how it appears to our minds. But the grip of illusion is unrelenting, and illusion attempts to judge the truth according to its own Mayavic standards. Nirlekar was not prepared to obey Meher Baba's orders, and Baba gestured to the mandal. "I am offering him God on a platter, but it is not in his fate to accept it." To Nirlekar, he spelled out, "Now, since you do not wish to act as I have asked, do this instead. From here, start on foot for the Himalayas, singing the praises of God as you walk. Beg for your food and eat only what you get by begging. Do not accept money from anyone and do not touch any woman. Contact sadhus and saints along the way. Can you do this?" Relieved, Nirlekar happily accepted. This was something which conformed to his traditional idea of spirituality. Baba instructed him to return after 2 years and he left. Footnote, please. Nirlekar saw Baba again at Meherazad on 1st January 1949, at which time Baba permitted him to finish some pending matters and begin his pilgrimage on 7th February. He felt pleased and he marched forward to gain God realization. At least so he thought. Nileka did as he was ordered and came back to Baba after about 8 months. He felt proud, thinking he had done severe penance for the attainment of God. He dramatically recounted tales of his sacrifices. Baba expressed his happiness and instructed him to resume his business activities in Pune, and Nirlekar went home. A few months later, Baba set out on his new life. Nearly 3 years passed when Baba returned to Mehrabad. He heard the regrettable news about Nirlekar. It seems he had fallen prey to everything Baba had first ordered him to do. He was now eating meat, imbibing liquor, and was promiscuous with a woman of ill repute, indulging in all of these desires with an untroubled heart. Age learned why Baba had first ordered Nirlekar to fulfill his desires. His sanskaras were like that. And to wipe them out, Baba had given him the order. Had Nirlekar followed it willingly, Baba would have prevented him from falling so deep into the pit and would have destroyed the sanskaras by some other means. Perhaps Baba would even have directed him not to indulge in such things. Nirlekar had only said yes. The world would call Baba's order immoral and label it unspiritual. Could rollicking with wine, women, and song ever earn God realization? The worldly minded would ask. Nirlekar's illusion bound self prohibited him from enjoying these worldly pleasures according to the God man's wish, and ruined him by compelling him to indulge in them subsequently according to his own false wish. Mighty is the manyness of this illusion, thought age. To emancipate oneself from Maya's clutches is impossible without the help of a perfect one. The footnote says Vishnu Chavan was also given certain instructions in December 1948 about touring Uttar Pradesh for 2 months, making a list of advanced souls there and then to come and stay with Baba for a few weeks. But he too did not fulfill Baba's instructions. Once, very early in the morning, Baba left Meherazad to Meherabad. Sailor Mama saw Baba's car pull up and informed all, Baba has come, Baba has come. Everyone rushed to receive him. All except Gani's nephew Rashid, who was still sound asleep. Baba took a plate and ladle and went to his room. He began striking the metal plate with the spoon near Rashid's ear, shocking the boy into wakefulness. Baba scolded, God has come to you, and you are sleeping. Murli Kale was conducting the homeopathic dispensary in Mehrabad, and Rashid was his assistant. One day, Babadas went to the dispensary and told Rashid, India and Pakistan are at loggerheads, shedding each other's blood. Why don't you go to Pakistan and help your Muslim brothers? I will remain here and nowhere else, Rashid replied. If the Hindus beat you up, what will you do? I won't take it lying down. I will strike back. He pulled a pen knife out of his pocket and showed it to Babadas. Babadas reported the matter to Baba, who called Rashi. Whereupon Baba admonished, "It is not good to get so worked up. If you want to strike back, strike out at your own wrath. For me, inequality does not exist. All are equal for me as I am in everyone. But only those who love me are dear to me." Baba warned Babadas not to discuss such topics again, and also instructed the other Mandli to refrain from mentioning politics. On Wednesday, 15 December 1948, Nana Kher of Nagpur and Wasdio Khan of Delhi were brought to Meherzad by Adi Senior to see Baba. Nana Kher had repeatedly requested to stay with Baba. He had recently heard from Baba Das that Baba was looking for lovers who would be prepared to go to foreign countries to do his work. Nana told Baba this, and Baba asked him, "Would you be able to do anything I say?" "Anything," Nana replied. "Would you kill your father?" "I would do anything you told Baba." "Are you prepared to undergo life imprisonment for my sake, to suffer physically and mentally for the rest of your life? Will you do that for me?" Nana answered affirmatively, and Baba asked about his activities in Nagpur. Baba then ordered, "I want you to go back and return here within 2 months with 4 lakhs of rupees." "All right," Nana calmly replied. "From where will you bring it?" Baba asked. "I will beg," Nana replied. "Who would give you alms?" "I have a better idea," Baba teased. "Rob a bank and give me the money. Then surrender to the police and accept your guilt. You will be sent to prison, and there you will be able to remember me more. Could you do that?" Nana assured Baba that he was prepared to do so, and he was told to go. But soon Baba called him back and ordered, "Don't do that. Instead, go home and sell your half interest in the chemist shop, his family pharmacy. If you want to dedicate yourself to my cause, you must be free from any personal liability. Give the money to your mother." Thereafter, on the 1st of April 1949, walk here from Nagpur wearing only a lion cloth and nothing else. Don't keep a pie with you and beg for your food. Would you do this?" "Yes," Nana assuredly replied. "If your parents won't allow it, what will you do?" Nana remained quiet, and Baba warned, "Do nothing against your parents' wish. Explain to them lovingly, but do not argue with them. And then come and stay with me permanently." Nana returned to Nagpur, and as expected, his well-to-do elderly parents, his father was a judge, were shocked. They did not think it was proper for their son to go on a begging tour, and they forbade it. His father wrote to Baba, and Nana also informed Baba accordingly. Baba ordered him to continue living with his parents. Wasdio Khan also expressed his desire to surrender all to Baba. In reply, Baba instructed him, "Carry on as you have been doing until next June. On the 10th of June, resign from your job. Whatever belongings or property you have, give them to your wife. leaving everything behind on the 15th of July. Start walking from Delhi to MEHER. The rupees 101 which you have brought with you for me now, take back. And while coming on foot in July, do not keep a pie more than this sum with you. If you spend it all, beg for your food. Let me know in May about your decision. But as events unfolded, Vasudeva Kane too could not join Baba as he faced many pressing problems, and Baba directed him to stay in Delhi working at his job. Harjivan Lal, a lawyer from Delhi, also came for Baba's darshan in December 1948. This was his second meeting, and this time he brought his wife and children. He had first learned of Baba in Banaras, and Babadas had contacted him subsequently in Delhi. Harjivan Lal's entire family became devoted to Baba, and the lawyer himself proved to be a great help in Baba's future work.
Thanks very much, Meher. Unless there's somebody dying to read, we'll stop here. Is there anybody dying to read? Okay, awesome. So that's page 2689 at the top.
Okay, that was Jay Baba.
Oh, it looks like a lot of it was not recorded. So we'll see what the recording is and go from the end of the recording. Yeah.
I think it's still recording. I tried to shut it, but
Yeah, undo the recording, please.
Oh, you're right. Awesome. That is perfect.
Yeah,
Great.